Hello everyone, I am Ashish Ogle, Assistant Professor in the Bhopal School of the Social Sciences. Actually, today we will discuss about a very important topic of the same introduction of public administration, in which the most important topic we discuss is the scope of public administration. So, as we see, the scope of public administration actually could be seen into the two different views. And the two different views can be actually looked into here, like of the post-core view and the second, that is the subject matter view. So when I say about the post-core view and the subject matter view, both of them are actually very much different. Now first we start with that of the actually post-core view. The post-core view, that is actually very important kind of the view which is presented by the Luther Gulick. So Luther Gulick actually Luther Gulick I say believed that the administration consists of the 7 different elements and they summed up by them into the acronym that we call as the post-core. So the post-core, that kinds of the terminology is there, no any kinds of terminology we see in any of the dictionary. So that is an acronym actually in which every alphabet has its specific meaning over here. So each of the letter implies one of the elements of the administration. So that actually we call just like actually the P. It stands for the planning, the second O stands for the organizing, S stands for the staffing, D stands for the directing, CO stands for coordinating, and R stands for reporting, and B stands for the budgeting. So basically according to Luther Gulick, actually these all are a very important functions. So basically, okay, here when we just look into the scope of public administration, the scholars have a kind of the confusion that actually what we must have to do study in the public administration. And the scope, it means what? Up to what criteria or the limit actually the public administration could be expand, or up to what extent actually we do study them. For that sake, actually the post-core view or the subject matter view has been explained over here. In that the post-core view, Luther Gulick say a very simple thing: up to what extent of the functions performed by the public administration, up to that extent we need to get study the public administration. So he explained in that way. And he say there are the post-core 7 different kinds of the functions performed by the public administration. So up to how extent or the long or the criteria or the limit up to where actually it is perform its functions, according up to that particular limit the public administration or the scholars of the public administration had to do study. Now one by one actually we study and starts to discuss about the actually every alphabet in the acronym of post-core. So now actually here the first P stands for the planning. What is the meaning of the planning? Actually the planning is the particular framework in which you just trying to sketch the best utilization of the available resources. So in any of the organization actually we do what? Nothing but actually do the planning first. It means if you would like to perform any of the functions, so at first you perform the functions through the planning. It means you just create or just make a sketch, a framework of those all activities that actually could be take place whenever actually you do the execution. They are kind of the very important decisions of the organization. Now the second actually we discuss about O stands for organizing. So when we say about the organizing, actually it is also a very important aspect, or we can say the second step when actually do perform any of the administrative activity in any organization. So very simple, whatever the decision actually you have taken, actually when you start perform the functions upon, you need to have a specific structure or the departmentalization according to the technicality, or we can say the different kinds of actually the requirement to be get performed into your those framework of the plan you do have decided. Now as of actually you just do create the structure of the organization, and once your structure of organization is getting completed, you starts the recruitment or the process we call as the staffing. So the appropriate person, according to the actually structure you decided, you start the recruitment, providing them the training, and actually having ensured their greater performance, you started over there. So that is the third step according to the actually Luther Gulick. Okay, we perform any kinds of function in any of the administrative system. After having the staffing, now actually the very important thing that actually you do have prepared. Now you have the plan, you have the organizational structure, and on every structure you do have also the staffing. Now the next step you starts, that is by the chief executive or the top level managements. They perform the very important functions. That is what, according to what they decided, what they planned, okay, according to that they starts, the D stands for the directions. So the directions start getting actually passed on to their actually subordinates, and one by one, whatever the directions they are actually providing or the instructions they are giving, the command they are actually passing through, they all are concerned to get done, complete or achieve the objectives of the organizational plan, what actually had decided earlier. So again, in the same actually the steps we are moving, continue ahead. Okay, after that giving the directions, now the next actually that comes in the acronym to that, CO stands for the coordination. So we do have create the proper structure, then actually we do have a number of different kinds of actually the personals or the employees, and now actually we also have this assign them the different kinds of duties by giving the directions. The most important now the working is what? Coordination. Coordination stands for the synchronizing of the efforts given by the different unit to units in any organization only, and person to person also, because it is very simple that one's output works as the input for the others. So it is very much important because actually each one have play a very important role in the organization. It is become very important that to create a kind of coordination, that is also a very important function in the public administration. After having the discussion over the coordination, now actually we discuss on the topic of reporting. So reporting is what? Reporting is a very important actually we can say the activity in any of the organization. So when I say about the reporting activities, so actually it is what? It could be say as of whatever the actually the functions you perform in any kinds of the organizational capacity, you actually perform, okay, that functions along with that, they all are properly written off and submitted to the management just as a record. These records are keeping and like a historical documents. Actually, whenever the similar kinds of the functions or the similar kinds of the plans has to be performed in future ever, then actually at that time these kinds of the records it just gives us a very good help. Even that records can be actually used as of the appraisal of the whatever the plans you are performed, whatever the activity you have done, does it was well or has any of the reform or any kinds of actually we can say the very important kinds of the features must have to be taken from here for the future any other kinds of the activities. So this may in this all references actually the reporting is a very important part that actually comes under the sixth function as of speak by the Luther Gulick here under the actually acronym of the post-corp. Now finally actually we discuss on the that is budgeting. Budgeting which actually comes into the last but not the least actually, because there is some of the very great personality, just like into the ancient time we say about the Kautilya, or into the actually very modern time into the British one of the scholar Lloyd George. Both of them have very similarly said without finance there is no government. So the most important is that actually you would like to have every step you need to have the financial assistance, because without the financial assistance the government could not at least take a single step, and the budgeting is very important for that. So what is the budgeting is actually, by the image you can actually clearly understand the budget is the systematic written document of a particular duration, generally of a year, in which all the expenditure in the income of that kinds of actually the duration we systematically keep with us. That is we call as the budget. But the most important, the financial assistance and the knowledge of the income and the expenditure is very important to have take the steps for any of the activities. Now after having the discussion over the particular post-corp view, as actually I explained earlier, we can actually see to the scope of public administration into the two different way. That is actually I say about the post-corp view, and the second actually the subject matter view. But now actually after having the discussion of the post-corp view, I am actually going to discuss about the subject matter view. So here the most important actually aspect comes over here. Generally the most of the scholars have criticized and say what the particular elements or what the acronym as of the functions of the management being decided by the Luther Gulick under the public administration are actually does not okay, the same at any and every kinds of the organizations. The reason behind is what? The reason behind is that because the every organizations, or I say, if actually we are studying about the public administration, so under the government there is a different departments and ministries. Every department, every ministry has the different kinds of subjects, different kinds of the field, different the sectors, and according to whatever the field, whatever the sectors, whatever the subjects, they have the different kinds of their own post corp. So basically post corp, which is the function being considered as of actually the very important kinds of what? The functions or the techniques of the organization. So the post corp is the technique, but the technique is not same applicable for the every and each kinds of the organization. So the reason behind is what? Every organization are completely based or constituted on the basis of the different kinds of the subjects. So subjects are very important. So here the very important thing is that again, some of the scholars say it is not possible that actually we can say only the subject matter play a very important role, or even actually it is not possible that actually we can say only the technique is very important. But the subject matter for the any organization and the techniques of the performing functions in any organization, both of them are the supplementary to each other. We cannot see, okay, them, both of them, okay, separately or inseparable to each other. Now in public administration, especially in the subject matter view, the most important actually role played by the Lewis Merriam. She said public administration is an instrument with the two blades, like a scissor. A scissor having the two blades, and both of the blades are very important. Without the, we can say, association of the two blades, okay, you cannot be actually imagine a cutlass scissor. Here she say actually the one blade works like the technique, as actually we can see in the public administration to the post corp, and the another blade in the same scissor could be actually just taken up as of the subject matter, and that is actually the two blades has been explained by the Lewis Merriam, and say that the subject matter and the techniques, both of them must have to be taken into the consideration at the time of the studying public administration, which clearly define to you all what is the scope, the extent, the limit of the subject matter here, scope of the public administration here. So finally, I really very thankful to you to listen to me, and actually I'm just going to close my topic here, and actually very thankful to you and waiting for you, looking forward. Thank you so much.